statutes are right. Rejoice in the heart, Yah's commandment is pure. Enlightening the eyes, the fear Yah's clean. Enduring forever, the judgments of Yah true and righteous all together. Praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. Yo, first and foremost, all praise to Yah, creator of the heavens, earth, and sea, and all that in them be. Scorners revile Yah's biz, but Yah dissolve them like fizz. Let me tell you who He is, the Almighty El Shaddai, He who sits on high. El Elyon, the Most High, Elohim Shemon, YIsraEL, Yahweh, Eloheinu, Yahweh, Yakai.
3 minutes
Yah,
until
that's my
showtime.
job. Yah is one, arm, leg, arm, head is done. JC died on the cross, so we never won. Our people calling on deities, blind, deaf, and dumb. They use what they call image to place this for the heat. Why my people so blind that they can't see what's right under their feet? Clear as the concrete. I'm a hunter for the lost sheep. Send it up, set a lie to the most high soul. Yah's testimony sure, making wise and bold. Yah's statutes are right, rejoice in the heart. Yah's commandment is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear Yah's clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yah true and righteous all together. Praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. Yeah, who is our King? Yah sent us into captivity for our iniquity. And who is our judge? Yah, He'll have mercy and compassion on me. Just love Him and praise Him daily. Who is our lawgiver? Yah, that's the only one, no other. That's why I left the stone cutters. All of our lovers betrayed us. This is why it is Yah, and He will save us. No more following our lust. In Yah I trust. He made my bones rise from the dust, breathed in me life. But my people hated truth, started living trite. Now we here as it is this day, destroyed. Our men lay slain in the streets. Our mothers praising images of clay. And now we needs to turn to Yah. He put these curses for a sign and the wanted to be displayed. Yah's law is perfect, converting the soul. Yah's testimony sure, making wise and bold. Yah's statutes are right, rejoice in the heart. Yah's commandment is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear Yah's clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yah true and righteous all together. Praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. Yeah,
1 minute until showtime.
Praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. Yeah, all my people say praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. Yeah, praise the mighty, the holy, the only one. Mighty, mighty Yah. Oh, praise Yah in the heavens, praise Yah in the heights, praise Yah all His angels, stars of light, praise Yah in the mountains, on earth and the sea, praise Yah all ye kings and beasts of the deep, praise Yah all the saints, children of Israel, praise Yah you lions, praise Yah all His people as we go to Zion. Come on, tell me, yeah, all my people say praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. Yeah, all my people say praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah. Yeah, all my people say praise Yah, praise Yah, praise Yah.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
To you, my Yah, do I lift up my soul. And trusting you, He always kept me whole. And left my enemies deep in their holes. Let none that wait on Yahweh be ashamed. For shame on those who sin without a cause. Show me your ways, please teach me your laws. Oh Elohim of my salvation. I'm staying down impatient as a child all the while I'm waiting. Remember not the sins of my youth. Lead me in your truth and he'll give your soul ease. The earth shall remain inherited by a seed. The secret of Yahweh who fears Elohim, of who believes everything and to every word spoken. You can't take heed unless you hear somebody curse. You know you did the same thing. That's why I'm begging Yah for mercy and His love and kindness, cause I know that I ain't worthy.
The seven seas, captivity is taking hold upon me. Put fright in me and now we flee from fallen leaves. The grinding grief from all the blood, how people sing. And now we cry, where is the word from Elohim? And so we feel that we are as wise to be submissive, but we dismiss it. It is of this reason we have fallen victim to the lies that your root will prey and pursue. Rebellious of his son, forgotten that he is one. Broken the holy ordinance, rejection of reproof. Then acknowledge what we do. Now we return back to the truth.
Yah's word is the truth. Yah's decrees is the proof. Local 12 just released the scoop. It's the summer of Sam. They calling us Ham. Made us worship the son of man. And somehow that the moon they stole our style and gave it to Rothschild. Now we exhaust the vow, but hit the turnstile. Yah's not be set to put this thing straight. Praise Yah from the rising to the evening to the closing the gate. Exposing the fake. Yah give the truth a day break. Now the liars can't escape. And the haters can't relate to the light the truth makes. See the wicked's pride deflate. Ye adore Yah, magnify Yah, cut his grace.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise and honor to the Holy One of Israel, to the Creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is, by saying hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous, Yah is holy, and let Yahweh be magnified. Once again, the Almighty Yah have shined His mercy upon us and blessed us that we can come before you once again, bringing you another program of nothing but the truth. And yes, it is true. All we're going to do is tell you the truth. For Yah ordained me to tell you the truth, so this is what I will do. And I thank the mighty Yah for not only blessing us, but blessing you all, that we all can come together and hear and see and believe in His words. But who is this Yah that we come before you 6 days a week to speak His word to you? Well, this Yah is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is. Yah is the Elohim of our fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and YIsraEL, whom you may know as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yah is our King. He's our judge. He's our lawgiver. And it is Yah who will save us. And not just Israel, but Yah is the Savior of the world. Once again, praise the mighty Yah for his great and holy words, his goodness, as well as his mercy, for his mercy endureth forever. We have been discussing various things on the cultural identity of our people, the makeup of our people, the various lifestyle of our people. Our lifestyle, our culture, all come from the Most High. Sometimes people become curious about the various things that we do and we practice. Our lifestyle, to many, is peculiar. And in truth, it's supposed to be peculiar. And not only is it peculiar, it's very different and really special. And if we take the time to get right into the cultural identity of our people, and adopt our own culture, then you can begin seeing, understanding, and even executing the way of life of our people. The first thing that we began to discuss about our way of life is where the Creator told us in the book of Jeremiah, the 29th chapter, build ye houses. And we brought to everyone's attention that a house is not just a building. It's not just a dwelling. But a house is a family. And Yah wanted us to build families. These families are very essential to the Most High because the Most High is a family man. Why do you think he called us the house of Israel? Because a house is a family. Show you what Yah said concerning this family. It's two things that I want you to see. One is in the book of Jeremiah. Because building a house is one of the chief things that you can do. That's the chief thing you should do. And when we say the chief, that means it's the first. It's number one. In the book of Jeremiah, the 3rd chapter, this is what it says concerning building your house. And this is what it says. 12th verse, Jeremiah 3, verse 12. Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, return, thou backsliding Israel, says Yah. And I will not cause my anger to fall upon you. In other words, all you got to do is return. For I am merciful, says Yah, and I will not keep anger forever. And this is what we have to know. Yah is very merciful. His mercy is from everlasting to everlasting. So we have a great opportunity, but Yahweh wants us to return. And how can you return when you reject his messengers? Yahweh said he will do nothing but what he first revealed unto the servants, the prophets. And the only reason our people are in the condition they're in is because they have rejected Yahweh's prophets, his messengers, and ultimately his words. And still to this day, we are telling our people, return unto Yah. Watch what it says. 13th verse. Only acknowledge thy iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against Yah thy Elohim, and hast scattered thy ways to strangers under every green tree. And ye have not obeyed my voice, says Yah. And watch what he says, 14th verse. Turn, O backsliding children, says Yah. For I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city, and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. A lot of people, they get real scared when you read that verse, because they begin to realize you're only going to take one of a city and two of a family to Zion. Well, the only reason Yahweh would take one of a city and two of a family is not because he's just choosing one of a city and two of a family. What Yahweh is letting us know, only one of a city will choose him, and only two of a family will choose him. It is Yah's desire that everybody choose him, and that everybody return, and that everyone stop the backsliding that has plagued our community. Yahweh is not interested in the death of the wicked. No, his desire, his pleasure is that the wicked turn from their ways and do that which is lawful and right. In the 15th verse, it says, and I will give you pastors, which is leaders, ministers, according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. This is why it's very important to know your leaders. And speaking of that, I forgot to introduce myself. And my name is Mowreh IshYAH, the House of Israel, located right here in Cincinnati, Ohio, 1907 Vine Street. And I just wanted to make sure I did that because this might be your first time listening to us. But again, it says, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So Yahweh said, turn backsliding children, for I'm married unto you. So Yah's desire is that we turn, and if we turn to him, this is what he is looking for. In the book of Psalms 127, because the very first thing we started out talking about is the Creator told us, even in captivity, build ye houses. What do you think he want us to do if we were in our land? Build ye houses. What do you think he want us to do in the wilderness? What do you think he want us to do any and everywhere we go? He want us to build a house, not just a house, a dwelling, Because many of our fathers, they stayed in tents. But they still had to build a house, because a house is not just a tent. It's just not a place of wood. It's not just a place of stone. It's not just a place for this and that. It is a house, a family. This is what it says in Psalm 127. Except Yah build a house, they labor in vain that build it. Except Yah keep the city, the watchman wake it, but in vain. So everything you do concerning a house, whatever it is, concerning a city, you let Yah build it. You let Yah build it. And this is what we have to do. We also discuss number 2 is planting gardens. And it's very important that we learn how to plant a garden, and every Israelite should have a garden. Matter of fact, that's the first food source Yah gave us, was a garden. And it wasn't just for our food, as many of you all learned, but it also was medicine, as the scriptures say. It also was for the service of man. We working and doing all this service, and what do you get in the end thereof? As soon as you get your paycheck, what do? You go grocery shopping and you pay bills. Well, only reason you're paying a bunch of bills is because we just not a free people. But we can even reduce those things. But then we have one thing left, and that's food. Because that's the main reason why you're working. You're working for food. Well, we can even cut that bill down if we just plant gardens. And not only is for the service of man, we find that planting a garden is the very first job a man had. And why? Because a man began to learn how to attend and care for life. What do you think a plant is? A tree is? They live. This is life. Let me show you how they communicate with the Most High. Watch this in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah 14. Speaking about the trees. In the book of Isaiah 14, starting at the 4th verse, and watch what this says. Isaiah 14:4, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. There's no more oppressor or greater oppressor than the very country that we live in. It says, Yah broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee. Now watch this. 8th verse. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, this is what they say, the trees. Since thou art laid down, speaking of Babylon, no feller is come up against us. And when you look up this word feller, it actually means tree cutter. Because what they have done is cut down all the trees and put all the various highways and buildings and skyscrapers and things that they can just make money off of. Put all kind of railroads and trains so they can transport this abominable food that they feeding us and this abominable medicine that they giving us. This is what they are doing. And even the trees rejoice in the fall of Babylon. But we want to be a part of Babylon. And we refuse to separate ourselves. But if we do what Yah said, build ye houses and dwell in them. Plant ye gardens and eat the fruit of them. Yet planting gardens teach you how to care for things, how to be a nurturer, how to be delicate, how to be attentive, how to guard and watch over. This is what gardening, farming help you to be able to do, if we're doing it the proper way. And now we're on the third thing that Yah will tell us to do in the book of Jeremiah, the 29th chapter. The third thing he told us to do is take ye wives. And I can understand why Yahweh waited to the third to tell us to take ye wives. Because we're already started building. We already started nurturing, getting our food source, getting all our medicines, learning the various skills that it takes to protect and to guard and to watch over and to value life. These are all the skills we learn. And then once we learn these things, then take ye wives. And why? Little do people know, a wife is someone that is holy and supposed to be holy. The word holy means to be separated. In other words, this woman is separated only to you, only to her husband. And now you have to treat her different than all the other women because she is your wife. And the Creator said, take ye wives. And it's funny how that is irony, because oftentimes when a man take a wife because they've learned bad things from our enemies, she is treated different, but she's not treated good. She's treated bad. In other words, everybody outside the house get treated good. If a woman need help, sure, let me help you. She need a ride, let me help you. She gets stranded, let me help you. You need some help with your kids, yeah, let me help you. In other words, she get a lot of attention. But then as soon as you marry her, then oftentimes the attention that is rightfully and duly hers, now she's neglected. In other words, she's not holy because you're not treating her with the holiness that she's supposed to be treated with. And oftentimes, they are not executing the holiness that they are endowed with. The Creator told us that we were a special and peculiar people unto himself, above all the nations upon the face of the earth. So what we have to do is not learn the ways of the heathens and adopt their ways in how we treat marriage. What we have to do in taking wives, we have to show the nations how to be holy. Because this is the first great holy thing that you will do. Even though gardening is holy, building a house is holy, all these things is holy. But now you're doing something that, as you're going to see, it produced something that only holy matrimony can produce. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. The third thing, take ye wives. And if you've been listening to me, you know what the third represents. The third represents something holy. It represents something holy. That's what all the various prophets, and you will see on the third day certain things happen to them. Why? Because that's one of the signs of holiness. When we brought all our first fruits and all our holy tithes to the Most High, when did he say bring it? In the third year. Why? Because that's a sign of holiness. When Yah married his people, he married them in the first year, the third month, the third day of that month. And why? Because it represents something holy. And I may add that this thing that is holy, all it is means it's separated from everything else. And this is what your wife is supposed to be. Separated unto you, her husband, separated from all the other women. And this is what the Creator wanted us to begin doing after we are set up the right way. And since we are set up the right way, or once we are set up the right way, and we find that we are following the commands of Yah, and we do this thing in an orderly way, because everything about Yah is about order. So we did step 1, we executed step 2, and now we're ready for step 3, taking a wife. That's why in the book of Proverbs 31, if you turn there for a second, because that's what, if you want to know the greatest thing you can become as a woman, the greatest thing you can become as a woman, it is not a prophetess, nor is it a queen. The greatest thing you can become as a woman is a wife. And there's nothing more holier than becoming a wife for a woman. This is a very holy thing. That's why when the scriptures talk about a virtuous woman, it starts off in the 10th verse, Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? Why is she so valued so high? Her price is far above rubies. It's not even close to rubies. And we know how valuable rubies are, but she's not, rubies don't have nothing on a virtuous woman. And you notice this starts out in the 10th verse because the 10th represents something holy. Matter of fact, 10 is the order of 3. I know everybody don't understand that because everybody hadn't been listening to me, and some people might be just listening for the first time. And that's okay, because we're going to bring you up to speed on a lot of these things. But 10 represents holy. If you don't understand what that means, why you think we celebrate the Day of Atonement on the 10th day, when Yah will take all our sins away? Why you think on the Passover the Almighty say take the lamb out on the 10th day? Because that lamb is holy. Why do you think the Almighty said the tithe, which means 10th, is holy? And what did we do with that tithe, which is a 10th? We gave it to the poor, the widow, the fatherless, the Levite, and the stranger. So that's what I mean by holy. It is separated. It is set apart. It's treated different. And I'm telling you, the wife is holy. She's set apart. That's why I'm starting in the 10th verse of this 31st chapter of Proverbs. And I may add, 31 also is the order of 3. And 31 is holy. And I may add, this particular chapter stops at 31, which again deals with holiness. And that's what the Creator wants you to know about a wife. This is a very holy thing. Why you think when a man and a woman come together, it's called holy matrimony? Because this thing is holy. But if you look at the various marriages today and how they go into the marriages and what they think about marriages and how they execute marriages, it don't look holy at all. As a matter of fact, it don't look holy to the extent that a lot of women don't even want to be married. And if they get married, they don't want to marry an Israelite man. And here it is, the scripture tell us to take ye wives. And then we have Israelite men that don't even seek a wife. Many men out there that's not married. And you have to ask yourself, why? Why aren't you married? Why aren't you seeking a wife? Why aren't you taking your rightful place in the earth? Even though this is the third thing that Yah will have us to do, this is one of the most important things. And you're going to understand why. But let's, right before we go back to the beginning of this and understand what it means to take ye wives, because we're trying to do everything in order. And that's the problem. We done so many things out of order that breeds confusion. So we get a wife, but we can't feed her. We get a wife, but we got to live with her. We get a wife, and we got to stay with our parents. We get a wife, but we don't have no job to provide and protect her and nourish her, guard her. That's all out of order. And we got to put things right back in order. And let me show you what happens when you don't take a wife. And let me show you what happened when a woman is not interested in a man. Watch this in the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter. And everybody say they keep the 10 commandments. And we're going to see if you keep the 10 commandments. And all you got to do is break one commandment, and then you broke all 10. Because the 10 commandments is a covenant that Yah made with his people. And watch this in the book of Exodus, the 20th chapter. And we're going to start reading at the 7th verse. And I may add that this is the third commandment. Since we're talking about the third thing that Yah will have us to do. And this is what it says. Thou shalt not take the name of Yah thy Elohim in vain, for Yah will not hold him guiltless that take his name in vain. And little do people know what they really doing is taking Yahweh's name in vain. This is what's going on. You might ask yourself, well, how is this taking Yahweh's name in vain? Well, didn't Yahweh, isn't he the one that said, take ye wives? That didn't come from the farmer. That didn't come from the governor. That didn't come from the mayor. That didn't come from the king. That came from Yahweh himself and said, take ye wives. And who would dare defy Yah and say, well, I'm not going to take a wife. I'm cool. I'm satisfied. I'm good. And Yahweh said, take ye wives. Not only did Yahweh say, take ye wives, let me show you what Yahweh said in the book of Genesis, the 2nd chapter. And what are we discussing tonight? We're discussing the third thing that Yahweh will have us to do concerning our cultural identity. Because see, the reason why I'm calling it our cultural identity, because we have people say, well, that ain't no law. That's not no commandment or statute or judgment. All right. Well, if that's what you believe, that's fine. But is it a testimony? And yes, it is. If it wasn't a testimony, we wouldn't be reading about it now. And the various testimony are our culture. Our culture is our identity. That's our ID card. So that when people see us, they see the truth. They see righteousness. They see justice. They see the Most High. Because we are doing the things that he wants us to do. And let me show you one of the things he said we shouldn't do. Watch this. In the book of Genesis, the 2nd chapter, the 18th verse, and this is what it says. And Yahweh Elohim said, now this is what the Most High said. This is not man talking. It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. No wonder the scriptures say take ye wives. Because Yahweh said it's not even good for man to be alone. So ask yourself, why is man alone? When Yahweh said, take ye wives. It only can be one or two things. You can't say there ain't no women out there. You can't say that. Because there's plenty of women. And you can't say they don't want to get married, because many of them single and do want to get married. So you can't say that. And you can't say, well, they none of them no good, or they ain't good enough, and this, that. You don't even know these women, because you're not even seeking these women. And if you're not seeking, it's only because you have elected and chosen to take the name of Yah in vain. Now, I'm not talking about men who sick. And I'm not even talking about the women who have decided they're not going to listen to a man anyway, so they don't mind being single. Because you got women like that. Only some women, the only way they will be with a man if they have equal power, equal say, equal status. Now they'll tell you that they don't want equal say and equal power, but then the very next breath, that's what you'll see. That's what they really, really want. But here, Yahweh said, it is not good that man should be alone. And as a result of that, Yahweh made him a helpmeet for him. This is Yahweh's gift to a man. This gift to man was something holy. It made him complete. You know it wasn't something complete because Yahweh said it wasn't good. And everything Yahweh completed, he saw that it was good. So here, we have a lot of people taking Yahweh's name in vain, although they say they keep the 10 Commandments. Now, all you got to do is prove me a liar and go get you a wife. That's all. Get you a family to take care of. Not because I said so, because Yahweh said so. Furthermore, not only did Yahweh tell a man to take ye wife or wives, but Yahweh also said this: since it's not good that man should dwell alone. This is what Yahweh said in Proverbs 18. One might say, well, Yahweh don't speak in Proverbs. Well, who do you think wisdom come from? Wisdom don't come from no man. Wisdom come from Yah. And let's see if you agree with the wisdom that comes from the Most High. Since it was he that said, take ye wives. And I'm very suspicious of men with women. Now, I'm nobody. So I'm just talking straight up to you. Some things I just tell you how I feel. Now, my feelings don't mean nothing, but I'm still telling you. Nevertheless, a hint to the wise is sufficient. And I'm telling you, I'm very suspicious of men with women and they not married. It's a suspicious thing to me, because I'm trying to figure out She not married, you not married, but y'all together. What's the problem? Watch what it says. Proverbs 18. And this is what it says in the 22nd verse. Whoso findeth a wife, findeth a good thing, and obtain favor of Yah. Any man that really want good favor or want favor from Yah, this is one of the first things he should be seeking to do, and that is find a wife. You just find your wife. Because if you find her, you finding a good thing. A good thing. Why? Because she was made for you. She was made for man. Now, it is true that when a man and a woman come together in holy matrimony, that oftentimes it don't work out. Well, it's not because what Yahweh has told us to do. Typically speaking, in most cases, the couple just refuse to humble theirself. And sometimes they try to humble themselves, but it's too late. A lot of times they humble themselves when they've already lost. And they don't respect and honor when they have. And this is the mass majority of the cases. This is why we teach and tell people before they get divorced or anything like that, look, consider this thing what you're doing. Consider your ways. Consider your actions. Consider your thoughts. Consider what you're doing. Because everybody don't get second chances. But we serve a merciful Elohim. But even Yah himself have timetables. And you're going to have to learn his timetables, you know. So not only the scripture said, whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor of Yah. But look at Proverbs 19. In the book of Proverbs 19, this is what it says. In the 14th verse. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from Yah. See, a prudent wife is from Yah. And what is a prudent wife? A prudent wife is someone that deals with wisdom. Of course, the scripture said, wise woman builded her house. She builds her house. And that's because she's a prudent wife. And that's what you want to have, a prudent wife. And there's no reason why in the Israelite community why the wives can't be prudent. We know, and I know, you've learned very bad habits. And you came up in very bad situations. But now you say you have Yah. And after having Yah, you will still act the same way as if you didn't have Yah? And always remember, a prudent wife is from Yah. And if you prudent, then you shouldn't be single. And if the brothers is not taking Yahweh's name in vain, nor should they be single. And our children and our women should be cared for. This situation that we find ourselves in today is a total abomination. And the only reason we're in this situation is because we have refused to humble ourselves. We started off reading, the Almighty said, I will take one of a city and two of a family. He said, only acknowledge your iniquities. And this is an iniquity that we will do things just out of order. We refuse to humble ourselves. Sisters, humble yourself. Brothers, humble yourself. And let us return unto Yah. This is our culture. This is our identity. We don't supposed to run around the way we are and look the way we do and act the way we act and sound the way we sound. You got women just talking and trying to take up for women. What you taking up for women for? Is that what Yahweh raised you up to do, to take up for women? And then you got brothers bashing women and trying to take up for... That ain't what Yahweh raised you up for. Yahweh raised you up for him. If you want to take up for somebody, take up for Yah. That's who you take up for. For it is Yah's word that our people have turned their back on. It's Yahweh. And the sooner we begin to realize this thing, the sooner we will begin to return back to Yah. So not only is it not good for man to be alone, even though Yahweh himself said, take ye wives. Not only do the scriptures say, he that findeth a wife finds a good thing and obtain favor of Yahweh himself. But Yah also let it be written for records, even unto this day, that a prudent wife is from him. And once again, who is the one that said, take ye wives? It was Yah. There's no man thing to take a wife. This is a Yah thing. Then we have people just making all kind of excuses. Well, there's no good men. Well, how you know all men? Well, they all homosexuals. Well, many of them are. But why are you worried about them? They don't want women anyway. Well, none of them got jobs. In other words, if we just write down all the excuses, then we can understand why you don't have a man. Because you got a bunch of excuses. And the Almighty you act like he don't exist. That's what I mean by taking Yah's name in vain. Yah said, is there anything too hard for him? There's nothing too hard for Yah. Yah can give you anything your heart's desire, but you have to know how to appeal to him. And really, our people don't know how to appeal to Yah. And we're going to show you how to appeal to Yah. Why? Because even that is part of our culture. How to appeal to Yah and how to get his attention. We're going to show you that. Of course, we already been showing people that so that they can see. Furthermore, in the book of Ecclesiastes, turn there. And what are we discussing tonight? The third thing, a holy thing that Yahweh would tell us to do. And when he told us to do this, he said in captivity, let alone if you're a free people. In the book of Ecclesiastes, the 4th chapter, and watch what it says. We're going to start at the 7th verse. Ecclesiastes 4, verse 7. Then I returned and I saw vanity under the sun. There is one alone, and there is not a second. Yea, he have neither child nor brother. Yet is there no end of all his labor. In other words, he by himself, don't have nobody to help him. But it ain't like his labor decreased as a result of being by himself. There's no end to his labor. In other words, his labor is just as much as 10 people working. And when Solomon seen, he said, man, this is a vanity under the sun. And watch what it says. Neither is his eye satisfied with riches. Neither said he, for whom do I labor and bereave my soul of good? This is also vanity. Yea, it is a sore travail. In other words, when you by yourself, there's certain questions that you should be asking yourself. The first thing you should be asking yourself in being alone is that, did Yahweh intend that for you? Did he intend that you be alone? Well, if he intended on you to be alone, then why did Yahweh himself say it is not good for man to be alone? If Yahweh intended for you to be alone, then why did he even make a helpmeet? And why did the scriptures say, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing? And why did the scripture say a prudent wife is from Yah? Not only that, watch the very 9th verse. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor. Of course, if you analyze that today, it seems like one is better than two. Because the way people complain today, well, man, she bringing me down, or he bringing me down, or I can't move, I can't do nothing, I can't be myself. In other words, just write all the excuses down, and then you can understand why divorce is the highest in our community than in any community. Because it don't take nothing for us to say, man, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm out of here. And why? Because we don't value nothing holy. Marriage is holy. And Yahweh himself said, take ye wives. That's what he said. Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he have not another to help him up. In other words, it's not just talking about falling on the ground, or somebody falling, they don't have nobody to pick them up and lift them up. You just don't know how many people are taken advantage of just because they don't have somebody else. Especially women. Just ask all the women that had work done for them and then only to be robbed. And tricked and bamboozled by the person doing the work. Some get the money and they never show up to even attempt to do the work. But you won't hear these stories from men. You hear it from old men that can't run after nobody and chase nobody down. But these are the stories of women. And why? It's only because you don't have that helper, that protector, that guard. And I'm not judging you because I don't know why a woman is not married, just like I don't know why a man is not married. But I do know why Yahweh wants us to be married, and why Yahweh made us to be married, and why Yah desired for us to be married. I do know that. And when you don't have that, I can definitely see why it is not a good thing. No matter how many excuses you come up with, it is just not good. Two are better than one. So when one falls, the other one can help them up. 11. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? Are these questions that you're asking yourself? And what are you willing to do? What sacrifice are you willing to make to fulfill the purposes of Yah? See, this is Yah's purpose. This might not be your purpose to be with someone or someone to be with you. But it is Yah's purpose. What you think he made woman for? For man. And what did he say about man? It's not good for him to be alone. Which let me know that we're supposed to be together. And all you have to do is ask, since Yahweh the one said, build ye houses and dwell therein. Yahweh said, plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. And Yahweh is the one that said, take ye wives. That's what he said. So if anything that I'm saying that might be uncomfortable is only because Yahweh said it, not me. 12th verse. And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him. And a threefold cord is not quickly broken. And you want to strengthen your family. And there's various ways and many ways that your family can become real strong. And the scriptures teach us how that can be. But we don't even want to practice the basic cultural identity of the scriptures. And what we're talking about is basic things. Like take ye wives. That's something basic. And we're not doing that. Now we're having a bunch of babies. But the only time it talk about having a bunch of babies is after you take a wife. You just can't put the cart before the horse, because the cart will not pull the horse. It's just not going to pull it. That's backwards. You're not going to go nowhere. And we haven't moved forward as a people because we've allowed ourselves to put the cart before the horse. And everything that we're doing, we have done backwards. And this is why the Creator told us we've gone backwards and not forward. And that's why he said, return unto me so I can return unto you. Because Yahweh is the one who will make the crooked things straight. That's why we must return unto him. And what we're discussing tonight is how to return unto Yah. We got to start being about the doings of holy things. We got to find wives, and our women have to get a husband. It's just, what else are you doing? What else is there to do? And how else can you build? Now, I'm not talking about the women who just don't want a man. You just don't want one, that's fine. That, at the end of the day, just know this. Yahweh says, thou shalt not take the name of Yah thy Elohim in vain, and Yah will not hold him guiltless that take his name in vain. And I'm letting you know now, that's exactly what you're doing when you have decided not to fulfill the purpose of Yah. For whatever reason, why you decided it. Now, I don't know every situation. Now, I'm not saying every situation is the same, because I don't know every situation. And there might be very acceptable reasons to Yah why you're not married. I'm just telling you Yah's purpose. So I don't want you to think that I'm judging you. I'm just teaching you the word of Yah. Whether you be a male or female, man or woman. And then once you get a wife, which is Yah's desire, since it was him who said, take ye wives. In the book of Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter, this is what it says. Seventh verse, 9 and 7, this is what it says. Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart. For Elohim now accepted thy works. And what is your works? Well, the works that he accepts is the fact that you did what he told you to do. And what is that? Well, you went and got you a wife. And watch what it says. And I may add, a lot of people ain't married because they want a certain type of man. And so there's a lot of men they won't even consider, even though these men might be good, righteous, protect them, take care of them. But because they don't look a certain way and act a certain way, and they just skip right past them. That's just like that old saying, people say they waiting on Yah, and then here come a boat coming past. They say, well, I'm waiting on Yah. And then a helicopter try to pick them up. And they say, well, I'm still waiting on Yah. And Yah done sent all kind of things to pick you up. But you constantly saying you waiting on Yah. Not realizing how Yah work. And how Yah tried to save you. And how Yah tried to pick you up. And how Yah tried to deliver you. But because you got all these excuses talking about you waiting on Yah, and Yah been came and gone. And you never knew it. And why? Because Yahweh said, cursed be the man that trusts in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart depart from Yah. And he shall be like a heat in the desert, and won't see when good cometh. And this is what happened to people when they trust in their own heart. They trust in their own thoughts. They trust in their own ways. And they trust in other people, other mankind. And as soon as you start putting your trust in that, you won't see when good coming. And a lot of people have and will miss the boat. All because of that one thing. And watch what it says. A verse. Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment. Which simply means to me is nobody can value you and respect you more than you respect and value yourself. And oftentimes people don't respect and value themselves. And then they get mad when other people don't respect and value them. Well, look at how you treat yourself. You eat anything, you're a glutton, you're a drunkard. You don't clean yourself. You don't look good. You don't dress. You just doing any kind of thing. And who respects somebody like that who don't respect themselves? And if they go by the Most High and they go by the scriptures, what do it say? Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment. And this is somebody who's always treating themselves and taking care of themselves with love and respect. And if you see somebody like that, then you can rest assured they're going to treat you with love and respect. And watch what it says. 9th verse. Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of the life of thy vanity, which he hath given thee under the sun, all the days of thy vanity, for that is thy portion in this life. and in thy labor which thou takest under the sun. Yeah, you live joyfully with the wife whom you love. Why wouldn't you? Why would you want to live any kind of way, any other way? Who wants to live angrily with the wife? Who want to live bitterly with a wife? Who want to have contentions all the time? Nobody want to have that. Why do you think the divorce is so high in our community? Because there's always contention. Always contention. As a matter of fact, it's so much contention, our people don't even know what contention is, because you start pointing out certain things. I didn't know that was contention. No, this is contention. Contention is like a faucet just dripping all the time. You might ignore it in the beginning, but after a while, every drop becomes a vexation. And that's how it is, contentions between a man and a woman. You might deal with it in the beginning, but ultimately and eventually, it's going to become vexing. And who wants to live like that? Learn what joy is and learn how to live joyfully so that you can have a joyful companionship. What do you think marriage is? Watch this in the book of Malachi so you can understand what it is. Malachi, the 2nd chapter. Again, what are we discussing? We're discussing the third thing that Yah will have us to do. And why? Because it's holy. It's set apart. It's special. It's peculiar. In Malachi, the 2nd chapter, this is what it says, getting right to it. The 14th verse. Well, let's start at the 12th verse. It says, Yah will cut off the man that doeth this, the master and the scholar, out of the tabernacles of Yaakov. Tabernacle mean house of Yaakov, and him that offering unto Yah foes. And this have ye done again, covering the altar of Yah with tears and with weeping and with crying, and so much that he regarded not the offering any more, or receiveth it with good will at your hand. And why? Yet ye say, wherefore? Why are you not accepting us, Yah? And this is why. Because Yah have been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. And watch what a wife is. Yet is she thy companion, and the wife of thy covenant. This is a covenant. And she's your companion. What's a companion? A companion is somebody that keep you company. A companion is somebody that you be around and you hang around, and y'all supposed to live joyfully with one another. If you around a woman and she your wife and all she got to do is frown and complain and no joy is coming out of her, then this is a sign that she's not a prudent wife. And a prudent wife is from Yah. That's from Yah. And if he complains all the time, what in the world? A man complain? And yes, men complain. Yahweh hate this. Why you think he hated it in the wilderness? And all our people did was complain. And who wants a complainer? Yahweh don't. The man shouldn't. And the wife shouldn't either. So if you're not complaining, there's only one thing to do, and that is live joyfully. And why? Because she is your companion, and she is the wife of thy covenant. And did not he make one? In other words, didn't he make y'all one? That's what marriage is all about, is becoming one. And why one? And wherefore one? That he might seek an Elohimly seed. In other words, how can he seek an Elohimly seed and he's not even seeking a wife? You got to seek a wife before you can seek an Elohimly seed. And what is an Elohimly seed? That's a holy seed. Because you don't know the thoughts and the ways of Yah. Rebecca had 2 sons in her womb, but only one was holy. Only one. Abraham had many sons, but only one was the covenant child. But Jacob, on the other hand, had 4 women, 4 wives, which people still don't like unto this day. And guess what? All 12 of his sons were holy. They were holy. All 12. All 12 was separated. In other words, all Abraham's sons weren't separated. All Isaac's sons weren't separated. But all Jacob's sons were holy. All 12. See, nobody knows the way and the thoughts of Yah. And since we don't know his ways and thoughts, he tell us to seek a Elohimly seed, because we don't know who Yah would choose and who he won't. And the way we go about seeking this Elohimly seed is the very next verse. Therefore, take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth. This is the only way you can tell whether we can seek this Elohimly seed. We don't know what Yahweh is going to choose. But make no mistake about it, if you're dealing treacherously, you'll never know. You will never know. And a treacherous situation will breed divorce. It's going to breed it. In other words, that's the expectations of contention, divorce. That's why the scripture says, live joyfully with the wife that thou lovest. Furthermore, just to show you this, and this is what the sisters want to know, and this is what the brothers must do. In the book of Genesis, the 12th chapter. Turn there. And what are we discussing? Where Yahweh himself said, take ye wives. I didn't say it. You didn't write it. This is from Yahweh himself. And you know people taking Yahweh's name in vain because they throw their husband away. And you know they taking Yahweh's name in vain because they throw their wife away. And then when you start inquiring and asking and analyzing, well, why? Why you want a divorce? Why you this? Why you that? You'll find out they don't have no good reasons. It's just some vanity. And that's what Yahweh says. Thou shalt not take the name of Yah thy Elohim in vain. For Yah will not hold him guiltless that take his name in vain. Watch what it says, Genesis the 12th chapter. And this is what you want to know. The 4th verse. We'll start at the 1st verse. Now Yahweh has said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So Abraham departed as Yahweh had spoken unto him, and Lot with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came. So what is this saying? This is letting us know, and particularly the men first, since the scriptures say, take ye wives. Whatever wife you take, you only want to take a wife that's willing to follow you. That's the only type of wife you want to take. And let me tell you, sisters, the only type
90
of man
seconds.
that you want to be with is one that you can follow. Find out if you can follow that man. And he needs to find out if you're willing to follow him. And if y'all can come to that agreement, then y'all are meant to be together. Because you can want a wife, but that don't mean she's going to follow you.
60 seconds.
And she can want a husband, but that don't mean you're going to want to follow him. And this is the problem. Soon as y'all get together, next thing you know, now somebody don't want to follow. And you only want someone that's willing to follow your lead. And you only want, sisters, someone that you can follow. Because some men are impossible to follow. Watch what it says.
10 seconds.
Genesis 24. The 4th verse. But thou shalt go into my country. That's what Abraham told his servant when he sent him to find a wife for his son, Isaac. 4th verse. But thou shalt go into my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. And watch the very first question the servant asks. And the servant said unto him, peradventure, the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. Must I needs bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest? And Abraham said unto him, beware that thou bring not my son here again. Yah Elohim of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me, and that swore unto me, saying, unto thy seed will I give this land. He shall send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this my oath. Only bring not my son there again. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and swore to him concerning that matter. They not willing to follow, and you know when a person is willing to follow you. If you don't know, you better get some tests together, because this thing you want to know before you get all caught up, because this thing will become contentious in the end. And the end is supposed to be better than the beginning. So make the beginning hard so that the end can be good. Also, in the book of Genesis 31. And watch what it says, the very first verse. And he heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Yaakov have taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's have he gotten all this glory. And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban, and behold, it was not toward him as before. And Yahweh said unto Yaakov, return unto the land of thy fathers, and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. Because you never know what Yahweh will tell a man. You never know how Yahweh will order the steps of a man. For Yahweh orders the steps of a man. And you don't have time to be fighting and warring and being contentious with your wife because she don't understand the moves that Yahweh will make with his servant. And likewise, when Yahweh will deal with his servants who are women, because they are servants of Yahweh also. All of us are servants of Yah. And if you have some inclination that this man you can't follow, you got to tell him the truth. I can't follow you. Make this the beginning stages and not the end. And Yaakov sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock. And he said unto them, I see your father's countenance, that it is not toward me as before, but the Elohim of my father have been with me. And you know that with all my power I've served your father. And your father has deceived me, changed my wages 10 times, but Elohim suffered him not to hurt me. And if he said, thus the speckle shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bear speckle. And if he said, thus the ring straight shall be thy hire, then bear all the cattle ring straight. Thus Elohim hath taken away the cattle of your father and given them to me. And it came to pass at the time that the cattle conceived that I lifted up my eyes and I saw a dream. And behold, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were ring-streaked, speckled and gristled. And the angel of Elohim spake unto me in a dream, saying, Yaakov. And I said, here am I. And he said, lift up now thy eyes and see. All the rams which leap upon the cattle are ring-streaked, speckled and gristled. For I have seen all that Laban doeth unto thee. And I am the Elohim of Bethel, where thou anointest the pillar, and where thou vowest the vow unto me. Now arise, get thee out from this land, and return unto the land of thy kindred. And watch what his wives say. because he had to tell them this. And either they was going to believe him or not. But make no mistake about it, Yaakov was going to do what the angel of Yah has said. And watch what happens. And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, is there yet any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not counted of him strangers? For he have sold us and had quite devoured also our money. For all the riches which Elohim have taken from our father, that is ours, and our children's. Now then, whatsoever Elohim have said unto thee, do. And that's what we must do. All you have to know is she going to follow you. And you want to know that in the beginning. All you want to know in the beginning, can you follow that man? And if he can do that, and you can do that, then we all can do what Yahweh himself said. And that is, take ye wives. Yahweh said he will make the crooked things straight. All we have to do is let Yahweh order our steps. And how did he order it? Build ye houses and dwell therein. Plant ye gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives. So, until tomorrow, Yahweh love you, and so do I. Shalom. Sorry, I forgot. Happy birthday, Lemuel.
Hopefully 2 or 3 witnesses so it can be confirmed. To you, my Yah, do I lift up my soul. And trusting you, he always kept me whole. And left my enemies deep in their holes. Let none that wait on Yahweh be ashamed. But shame on those who sin without a cause. Show me your ways, please teach me your laws. Oh Elohim of my salvation, I'm staying down and patient. As a child, all the while I'm waiting. Remember not the sins of my youth. Lead me in your truth, and he'll give your soul ease. The earth shall remain inherited by a seed. The secret of Yahweh who fears Elohim, who believes everything. And to every word spoken, you can't take heed unless you hear somebody curse. You know you did the same thing. That's why I'm begging Yah for mercy and His love and kindness, cause I know that I ain't worthy. Captivity is taking hold upon me, put right in me, and now we flee from falling.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.